mean, we can't start anywhere else than Jayden de Laura, freshman sensation. I'm gonna call him that now. I think he's got a great nickname that's going to be coming up in like 2 or 3 weeks that somebody's going to coin out there. I don't know what it is yet, so we'll stick with that for now. But just tell me what you saw from him and what you liked.
I liked a whole lot. Didn't really, you know, criticize him for too much. It's a freshman quarterback. You can't say too much against a guy who's playing his first college snaps. So I'll say, the first couple of drives out there, I saw the quick 3-and-out to start off the game, and I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I'm not going to jump the gun here. I know I was watching the game with some of my roommates, and they're like, oh, who's this Delora kid? I'm like, just wait, let's just see. This isn't the end of the world, but he's entertaining to watch. It's strange. He's got a little bit of everything in him when it comes to making plays, whether it's with his arm or with his legs. He's really shifty. He rarely gets tackled. He only got sacked like once, if I'm
Hmm.
mistaken, and he just rarely gets tackled. He's always looking downfields, and he's entertaining to watch. I think he definitely showcased his talent out in the field on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote a little report card for him in his game one for Sports Pac-12. So remember, you can go check that out and check out columns from all the other Dash Sports posts and shows. But I was also impressed. I mean, for a true freshman during a freaking pandemic, like I don't know if you can do much better than just get. So he definitely played great. I mean, I think he did the things well that we thought he was going to do. Command of the offense, that was something we heard all offseason, that he kind of understands how this offense works. He ran a similar style in high school, so that was something we could expect. And I mean, he showed that pretty well. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. He had one bad throw, tried to force a deep ball that he shouldn't have, and it got picked. But he didn't let that bother him. He he stopped throwing deep as much because he was short on a little, but he went back to it later and had some great throws. So um, he didn't in the passing game. He didn't really do anything insane. He threw for 227 yards. It's not great. Not. I mean, obviously Anthony Gordon was against worse competition, but he threw for 400 or something. But for he went out there and he did what he had to do, which I think is the biggest thing. He very easily could have went out there, and the moment could have been too big, and he could have had some nerves, which he may have, like you mentioned, on that slow start. But he was, I think, who we thought he was going to be, and a guy who has some potential here. I think the running ability and just what he can do on the ground and with his legs was awesome. I mean, you mentioned to his ability to kind of evade sacks. Like you couldn't really take him down in the pocket. The one sack they got was on a blitz where Nick Rolovich took the blame for a bad play call. So I mean, he did great. I mean, I think he inspires a lot of hope for this year and just for the future, because I loved watching him play.
Yeah, and I'll encourage the chat here and plug your article on All Sports
Mhm.
Pac-12, our lovely partnership with them. But you gave a report card to Jayden de Laura's debut, and you had several categories where you were
Mhm.
grading him. And I'll encourage the chat. How do you think he did? What did he get, an A? Did he get a B?
Mhm.
Did he get an F? And if he did, you're
Yeah.
an Oregon State fan.
Yeah,
So
Oregon State fans, leave your bias out of this. Just because he beat you guys doesn't mean you have to give him a bad grade.
yeah, his ability to, and back to what you were saying about Anthony Gordon, when he would throw the ball for 450, 500 yards and throw the ball
Mhm.
60, 70 times a game,
Yeah.
well, when teams were going against us, if you shut down the pass, then we didn't really have anything else to answer with. We didn't have that many run plays in our playbook. I don't really like to
Mhm.
believe. So the fact that Delora not only, yeah, the one bad pick, don't get me wrong, the moment he threw it and the moment it was intercepted, I kind of sat there and I was like, at least it wasn't a flat route that was picked off and took to the and taken to the house. At
Yeah.
least it wasn't a slant in the middle of the field 5 yards away from him. It was in the end zone. It was what, 30, 40 yards downfield.
Yeah.
It happens, and that was his only pick. And other than a couple of some shaky throws on the run, whether it be a little too far in front or a little far behind, I noticed on some passes down the middle, he'd throw it he'd throw it a little bit behind them, but if you look back at the replay, there's a linebacker standing about 3 inches away from where that ball should have been. So
Hmm.
I even think that there's a little bit of a acknowledgement of, if there's a defender in front of me and it's going to get picked off if I lead it off in the place that it should be, then I need to throw it, somewhere else. You see that with like curl routes in the
Hmm.
NFL. If someone's about to throw a curl route, but he sees that defensive back coming in, they're going to throw it straight into the ground. So I'm even seeing that with a true freshman quarterback. And like I said, he's very improvisational. But I wanted to ask you real quick, because this was something that I definitely brought up to my roommates when I was watching the game, was he's definitely a threat throwing the ball and running the ball, at least somewhat, right? We wouldn't have won if he wasn't going to
Hmm.
be at least somewhat of a threat. So I think with a lot of these scrambling quarterbacks, sometimes you see. I know as a Seahawks fan personally, when I first saw Russell Wilson starting to play, it was, why is he running? Why is he running? He should always be looking downfield. He should always be looking
Hmm.
for the next route. Then after a while, in Russ we trust, MVP 2020. But
Hmm.
Jayden de Laura, I'm almost thinking the opposite. I think he can make even more plays with his legs, because although he only had the one pick and had 2 passing touchdowns, should have been three.
Yeah, yeah.
But although
Let's
he
do
had,
that.
yeah, although he had good passing stats, I think he can make even more plays on the ground. I think he should even be looking more towards scrambling past the line of scrimmage. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He just for a lot of reasons, he didn't look like a true freshman, and one of those things was he didn't get flustered in the pocket. He never saw guys covered and took off immediately to run. Now, a lot of that is because, I mean, the star of the game was the offensive line. I mean, they kept him clean and well protected the entire game, so he wasn't really forced to scramble. Russell Wilson scrambles because he's got five
He's got to
guys in
run for
front of
his
him that
life.
can't
Yeah.
block. Yeah, exactly. So if we see that, then I think he's got the ability to do that. But yeah, I mean, he looked. You would not have been able to tell me that he was a true freshman if I didn't know that going in. I mean, he dropped back. He was able to go through his reads. I know Nick Rolovich talked about this yesterday, actually, that those touchdowns to Renard Bell, they got called back for a penalty, and then Travell Harris on the next play. Those were backside reads, meaning he went through his progression and got to that. He didn't just see a guy running down the field and decide to throw it to him. So, he really goes through that offense, and part of that is knowing when to run and knowing when to, take what he's got. He's not afraid to throw the deep ball. He's also not afraid to check it down and throw the 5 yard pass to Travell Harris and hope he makes somebody miss. So I think, he just all that stuff is just encapsulated by his command of the offense and just knowing what to do, because he also, we've got designed run plays for him. He's taking the zone read, he's pulling that, and he's able to run, get a touchdown, and then, but also, I mean, the first down they got was on a scramble that he just he made a play with his legs. Um, his pump fake is absolutely deadly. I mean, he was getting guys to
Oh yeah.
jump in the air like that. That was insane. But I mean, he did. I don't want to call him a game manager, because he wasn't. He's not throwing check downs and doing that. But he did everything he had to do to win. And if you want to call him a game manager because of that, you can. I disagree with that, because he made big plays. But I mean, he wasn't put in a position where he had to lead anything crazy. But he did everything he had to. And I